All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning back into Psych Word. You are now on the couch with Rob Gerard. And on the line right now, we have comedian Roy Woods Jr. Roy, you there?
Hey, how's it going? How you all feeling, man?
Haha, doing well. Thank you very much, man. Glad to have you on the show. How's everything?
I appreciate the hospitality.
What was that?
I said I appreciate the hospitality from you boys. I try.
Well, you know what? I know you.
Every now and then.
I know you come from the South, right? You originate from the South, so we wanted to show you some of that hospitality.
Well, I appreciate it, gentlemen. Oh, my goodness gracious. Are you all hyped for Super Bowl, or do you all not care up that way?
No, listen, you know we are. I mean, right now, being from Connecticut, we are smack dab in the middle of Giants and Patriots country. So half the state is, like loving it, and the other half of the state is hating it.
Well, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I don't even know what it's like, the playoffs. I've heard rumors of this great place called the Playoffs, where the wine flows, and there's naked women who don't tell you no, and there's free hot dogs.
Oh, yeah, and the hot dogs are ballpark. They're ballpark hot dogs, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah, Chicago style with the relish, hot, the playoffs.
So, Roy, let me tell you, you have a pretty impressive resume as far as, appearances that you've made, and you seem to be a big hit on YouTube. When was it that you realized that, you know what, I can do this. I can make people laugh, and I can make people happy just by doing what I want to do?
For me, with comedy, it's a two-parter, but with stand-up, I figured it out the first night I performed. I was like, okay, so there is some validation to my thoughts being funny to groups of people. All right, we'll see how we can explore this. It was probably 3 more years before I had the thought of whether or not I could do it for a living and actually sustain myself. And then with the internet, dude, I had no idea. The way my prank calls started going viral early on, we had the radio station I was working at in Birmingham, we had a horrible web designer. And this guy didn't want to do anything. He was lazy. He was a bit of a prick. So I wanted to make phone calls for the local listeners.
I think I know that guy. Lazy, bit of a prick. I think I know that guy.
He has a couple brothers as well. They're all the same. And so he refused to he wouldn't put the prank calls on the website in a timely fashion. So I sat and learned basic web design. I'm no computer hacker, but I learned enough about web design to post the prank calls myself. I said, screw you, I'll put them up on my website. YouTube hit a year later, and unbeknownst to me, people were going to my site, downloading the pranks, and taking them and putting them on YouTube.
Wow.
And my website crashed. It was monthly. I had a website crash because, I'm a broke-ass road comic. I couldn't afford the server space to even sustain the type of site traffic I was getting. So, the server always went down. But, those were probably 3 really milestone moments where I went, okay, there's definitely an audience for this. Let's figure out how to monetize it.
Hey, Roy, it's Denise. I have a quick question for you. Did you consider yourself a prankster when you were young? Younger, like school age? Any good prank stories?
Not really. The only prank calls I did as a child were cabs to neighbors' houses so I could just laugh out and banging on the door. Back in those days, there was no, we're going to call you back and verify this address, caller ID nonsense. He said, hey, I need a cab. I'm at 443 Princeton Avenue. And I'd sit on the front porch with my sweet tea and a hot dog and just wait for the hilarity to start. And there's a girl who I couldn't stand who lived up the street from me.
It's always about a girl.
It's always about a girl. She was real lazy, bit of a prick. She was the younger sister of the web designer guy. And she was just a jerk to everybody in the neighborhood. I called cabs to her house in 15-minute intervals for 3 hours. It's one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life that I'm proud of.
I have a question for you about comedy in general. Like, how have you used your comedy for good in terms of, have you ever done any charity events or used your comedy to help people other than obviously on a daily basis? Laughter is obviously the best medicine, but anything interesting that you've done?
I mean, I've done my fair share of charity shows, and, probably the first charity show I ever did was a dance marathon at Florida State. I think it's for the Children's Miracle Network, and Jerry Lewis, I think they have some signs of muscular dystrophy as well. And I did comedy in a gym at Florida State at 3:35 in the morning. I'll never forget. It was a hell gig.
Damn.
But it was fun. It was very much fun. I'd probably say of all the charities that I've done, what I'm most proud of is my contributions to the USO and performing for the troops overseas and doing shows. We're not, there's other performers that go to the front lines, but, we're close enough. You're a bomb or you're working a support base that's not too far, from where the action is. And, you get to meet a lot of different people, all with a lot of interesting stories. But those are probably it's probably the only, I stopped short of calling it charity because, the troops appreciate it, but I don't consider them to be the same in need per se. Someone with a disease or raising it for a foundation. But in terms of performing comedy for somebody who you think needs to laugh and then actually confirming it through conversation with them that they need to laugh, the shows for the troops are the only place that happens.
Now, let me ask you something, because I have a couple assumptions on what your answer could be, but I want to hear what you have to say first. What is the worst part about being known as a comedian? What's the worst question you get, or the worst kind of, thing?
Of course, it's I don't know what's worse. Tell me a joke, or you want to hear a joke. When some people will say, "Oh, well, he's a comedian," I'm going to tell them this joke. Just know, 7 times out of 10, your joke sucks. Just and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not a funny fellow, and I'm not saying your coworkers don't love you. But I'm not going to pick up a basketball and walk up to LeBron and go, Look at this cool crossover dribble I learned at the YMCA." Like, he's not a. Not saying I'm the LeBron of comedy, but just in terms of a professional and a non-professional attempting to have a conversation on the same wavelength. I'd say for me, that's probably the oddest one. I don't have a problem trying to make people laugh. It's not something I really know how to do on demand. In fact, like most comics, I'm low-key off stage. I'm not a boisterous, jumping up and down kind of guy.
So if you wouldn't call yourself the LeBron of comedy, what would you call yourself? Maybe like the John Starks, or?
No, even Starks is too good. He started from time to time. That dude, if you watch an NBA game, that dude at the end of the bench who never takes off his warm up.
The white guy from that came from Purdue.
And he's sending crotch shots to some chick on Instagram. Like, that's probably, I'm the guy next to him, encouraging him.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So, Roy, do you always feel like every girl loves a funny guy? Do you always feel like you had one up on all the other guys because you're so funny?
Shut up. No.
I love funny guys.
Not you, shut up. But
funny, not funny looking.
Women, we want a guy with a sense of humor, but first we want muscles and a nice car. That's what they never finish the sentence. Oh, I love a guy with muscles. Oh, wait, he has too many muscles. He likes to punch me. Stop, Ray Rice.
No, speaking of, Ray Rice and stuff, and I'm sure you've seen those, domestic violence commercials that the NFL's been putting out. Now, how staged are those commercials?
Here's the thing about those commercials. It's the league trying to get women on their side because they need the female dollar, because it's all about advertising and making money. So you have to appeal to a customer base you might have lost. But you don't need to show me a commercial promising that. No, show that in the locker room. All of that, no more saying it's just an accident. No more hiding it. No more hey, we know. Show it to the crazy people.
Yes. No, yeah, I agree. I think when the first one came out, and they showed like Chris Carter and it looked like he was starting to tear up, it was like, wow, this might be legit.
Such insincere, garbage sincerity on the ground that, we've always cared about domestic violence, but we didn't really do this commercial until our players started beating on these chicks. So, you know what? Let's go ahead and cut a commercial.
Yes.
Only care about what you need to protect. That's pretty much any business, though. So I'm not really attack the NFL. But the other big issue is that you think this league or any sports league should have some real moralistic concern about what's going on. How many employees of Walmart and Best Buy go home and beat their wives, and we probably still shop there, and Best Buy is like putting out commercials. It's a tough issue. I just don't like the chastising because the moment it goes away, so will the commercials, and so will the dollars, and so will all of the support to women's rights groups that the NFL is championing right now.
Everything you just said is very empowering to a lot of women and a lot of listeners out there. So as a woman, I appreciate everything that you just said, because that is, very empowering. Awareness is the key. And to your point, let's not just talk about it and show it when it comes out. It needs to be something that's consistently discussed.
Yeah, if there's going to be some consistent thread all the way through, then, all right, fine. But, we'll see. Even the breast cancer awareness is a bit insulting and pandering to women to a point where it's just like, hey, we get it. You care about women.
Yeah.
Can the players wear normal colored uniforms, please?
I got to ask you another question, and you're probably going to laugh because I just want to know, because I'm like picturing you in my head getting all psyched out and pumped before a show. What do you do before a show? What's your pregame?
I have no set routine. It depends on the level of importance of the gig. Television show, if I'm doing a TV appearance, it's kind of like Eminem and Green Mile, where I'm somewhere by myself in the bathroom, talking to myself, trying to make sure that I don't screw up.
Vomiting on yourself?
Yeah, all of that. Mom spaghetti, It just depends on the show. But, for the average show, if I'm just doing an hour show somewhere in America, there's not a lot of pre-show contemplation. I'm just relaxing, talking to people, and just a regular dude. I do most of the plotting and, planning out of the show ahead of time during the day. So by the time I get to the showroom, I'm pretty much, prepared.
Absolutely. Now, if you're just tuning in, we are on the phone with comedian Roy Woods Jr. Roy, before we let you go, what do you have coming up that you want our listeners to know about? What are you working on?
I'll be on At Midnight on Comedy Central Tuesday, February 3rd. So, set your VCR or whatever device you use. Does anyone still use VCR? My mom uses VCRs. I'll be on At Midnight, and I'm sure at some point later on in February, I'll pop back up on Sports Nation on ESPN. They've been nice enough to have me on over there a couple of times.
Nice.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to set my projector when I get home so it records on a projector. So, Roy,
Indeed.
Yes, Roy Woods Jr., thank you very much for coming on Psych Word. It was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for having me. The website is roywoodjr.com, and all social media is at Roy Wood Jr.
Beautiful. Roy Woods Jr. Thank you very much, Roy. Best of luck to you in your career,
you.
man. You're hilarious. All right, guys, that was Roy Woods Jr. We're going to be right back on Psych Word.
Psych Word Radio Show.